A lot going on.
That's if our friends of Woods Report, if they got something to share, then that would be,
Yeah,
what we'll
sometimes
talk
we don't
about.
make it through all the stories.
Because you
but-
guys may have a lot to
Right,
share and
but
have
we get
something
through
to talk
enough.
about. So
We get through enough of them.
The
So
thing is that you have options.
that's if our friends of Woods Report.
yeah,
You have
So-
options. You have choices.
yep. So we're on all 3 platforms. What's up, TikTok? What's up, YouTube?
What's
Like
up,
I said, a lot
people?
going on. We got our friends. We got Wendy here. We got Mike.
Hi, I'm
So in
Wendy.
the chat is M Perk.
Yeah.
If y'all see M Perk, that's Mike.
Mhm.
Hey, Perk, where you at? Perk, where you at?
We put a face with the names.
Right, and he tells everybody to make sure you like. Make sure you like
Yes.
Ooh, we need you to
Share,
just
like,
follow
share,
us
and
always.
subscribe.
Yep.
Thank
Like,
you.
share, and subscribe. Okay, y'all. Well, the main story that we starting off with, Al Pacino.
And Mike, I'm
Be
glad
your
you
share
on
friend.
because you're a
And
male,
that's deep.
from a male
That's deep
perspective.
Oh,
because
yeah, he could do
it's
it from
Al and Robert at the same time. Both of them.
Well, here's the thing. Al Pacino, I think he's older than Robert De Niro, isn't he?
About a year or so. I don't know. They're around close to the same age. I know that.
Because he was in the news earlier before Al. But
Yes.
my
He's got a
thing is-
baby. He's got a baby on the way as well.
Yep. So they probably talked
In
about that.
his
Hey,
80s.
man, you got one?
Both
No,
in
man,
their
you got one
80s.
too.
Al Pacino, 83, is welcoming a child with his girlfriend who is 29.
I told my sister, I don't have a problem. We get
I
in the
don't have a problem either. I mean, he's got to look at the fact that he'll probably only see his kid get around 10 years old.
because think
But
about this, Wendy.
Janet, too, look at Janet. She was 50 when she had her baby, which is old for a woman.
And if he,
So-
I mean, for the few days that he has left, because he may outlive his girlfriend, you never know.
The bottom line is God allowed this. Only God can create life. When I used to have girls get pregnant at the church and stuff, and they were struggling with abortion, and the old ladies were telling them they shouldn't be pregnant, I said, so what are you saying? God can only create life, not the devil. So what are you saying?
He tries to duplicate, you're right.
Well,
What do you think, Mike?
so in 10 years or 15 years, it's gonna be, hey, where's your dad? Well, my dad is dead. He died at 87. He had me when he was 83. That's a short that's a kind of like a short conversation. I mean, which is worse than that? Your dad died because he had he was so old when you were born, or oh, my dad is a deadbeat. He just left me and my mom. Okay, or my dad's in jail. Either way it goes, there's no dad.
Thank you.
But think about this. Your dad is Al Pacino. You can show your kid movies of him and pictures of him. You got a famous dad.
Nah,
So
he's too old.
If I was Al, I would put everything on hold. He doesn't need any more money. Shut everything down. Spend every day with that boy. If you can get custody of it, get it. And just squeeze everything you can with your money and your experience and your wisdom. Just totally get into him. Equality. And because like you said, some guys don't even have fathers. I never understood how a man can have blood walking around and ignore it. I don't get it.
we talk about Nick Cannon with 20 of his kids.
Oh
Well,
my
does
God.
Nick have time to spend quality time with all 20 of them?
No.
And he's a young
No.
dad. But
No,
about
no,
this,
no.
what Mike was saying as far as living, Nick is ill. He can very well pass away in the next
Somebody
5
said that
years.
he was doing this because it was the closest that he could come to being immortal.
Wow. His seed
Yeah.
lives
Isn't
on.
that deep? Isn't
Yeah,
that deep?
that's
So he
true.
has a God complex, huh? He wants to be immortal. He wants to be like God. That's
Yeah, good point.
Well, he's asking for a what's the test that they have?
He got it.
The blood
He
test.
got it. They said he had some kind of disease where he wasn't supposed to be able to get anybody pregnant again. And so he didn't believe it, but it's his.
Wow.
I don't know how
So they took the
I
test
don't
and
know how
they
they got the test, when the baby's not born yet, but I guess
You
when
can
he got
have,
money.
yeah, you can have a test before.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what's so funny, Wendy? We were talking briefly when my mom's sister had just left, but I had said this comment. Remember back in biblical days, we are totally different than biblical days because, you know, they lived longer. They probably ate differently. But how old was Abraham when he had that son?
Over 100.
His wife was close to the age
He
too, though.
was
That's the
a
thing.
couple
He wasn't
hundred.
29.
He was couple hundred. I don't know his
It
exact
says
age, but
here-
he was extremely old.
It says here, Hollywood actor Al Pacino is set to become a father again at age of 83. His girlfriend is 29.
How old is his kid?
And she's expecting a child. The actor best known for his roles in Scarface, which was excellent.
Mhm.
Good
Excellent.
Godfather,
Yeah,
excellent.
it was a good movie.
Excellent.
Every movie he's been in, I think, has been excellent.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll never
Um,
forget that scene when he ran in the bathroom and did his first murder. Remember that? In the
Oh,
restroom?
yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
You'll never forget that. You'll never forget that
Yeah.
moment. He's
Yeah.
excellent. Him and De
Yeah.
Niro.
Yeah, they are.
Now,
Equal.
Godfather.
if
And
that
they were
picture
both
you're
in The
sharing,
Godfather.
What'd
he
you
was
say,
in-
Mike?
if that picture you're sharing is a picture of him at 83, he looks good.
I
Thank
was getting ready
you.
to say, I would date him.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mike.
I
That's what I was
would. And
trying
I've
to
never
say.
dated a white guy, but I would date Al Pacino, trust me. Because
Yeah.
first of all, his mind. See, I'm attracted to a man with a mind. I like somebody who's going to trigger my thoughts, intrigue me, teach me things. I would love it.
Okay,
And,
well,
he's rich.
He's not bad looking
They
as far as his
said
age is
at
concerned.
Very good looking.
he probably got
He's
on
a
makeup.
He's got a very masculine Italian look.
Yes.
I
At
think he's very
79, he welcomed his 7th child. So he just had one.
See? And we acting crazy about 83.
And
That's-
De Niro's got about, I think, 5 black children.
Yeah.
And the one he's going to have now will be Asian.
Wow.
She was his insurance. She was his exercise instructor, his gym.
Well, we're gonna put a link down below, or not a link, in the community tab, a poll.
Okay.
Is 83, because last time we did with Robert De Niro, and then overwhelmingly people said he was too old. So let's see with Al Pacino, do people think 83 is too old to be bringing a child
And I'm
into
saying,
this
who
world?
are we to say what's too old to bring in the world? Like you said, Wendy, it didn't happen by coincidence. That was life that is coming into this world, whether we like it or
Yeah, and
not.
out of all the children he had, I don't know anything about them. This kid, obviously, something special about him. God wanted him to be here, so.
And he may
That's
have
the way I look at it.
longevity.
Huh?
His family line may be the
I don't know.
longevity.
Be 100
Yeah.
and
And that means something.
If we give this
How-
kid
how
at
old-
least
how
10
old did you-
years,
How old did your grandmother live to be?
95.
Well,
Thank you. See,
oh,
that
so the
Well,
kid be 10.
it don't
good
matter.
genes.
Because I'm concerned about Nick Cannon living.
Yeah, he's a
Because
definitely.
he's
You
not
know what? That's going to be a very sad day because it's going to take us all by surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you check out Patty Jackson, she can tell you better than I can. But she said that it was Jamie's right side, and that Tyson confirmed it was a stroke. So
You know what? So go to unshare. I'll say something real quick, but I'm only going to say this is allegedly,
So you don't
right?
get in trouble.
Because you don't want to say it's true. We don't know. But some doctor, you probably heard the same story, Wendy, a doctor who says he knows the inside scoop, I guess, on Jamie. He said that he had it was something that burst, I think, in his brain or in his head.
Aneurysm.
Something. And he said that it caused his brain to swell or bleed or something. So he can't speak. And they said that his movement is limited or something.
And you know
But
what?
that's all allegations.
I asked my son, I said, what side of the brain causes what? He said, the right side is creativity. I said, oh, dang. Oh, no.
Well, we don't know.
But you know what? People do heal because Patty had a stroke, and that was her testimony, and she went on to say, look at this. She did like this. And she said, now watch this.
Yep.
But we
She
don't
said, I
know.
still can. She said, and I will never run again. She said, but you can heal from a stroke. And Jamie's best thing is that one, he's got money, and two, they moved him fast. They got him there fast. And he's already a fighter and this and that. But boy, oh my God, that's just awful.
But we don't know. That's just allegation. That's
Well,
just the doctor saying
I
that.
hope it's not true. And if it is true, I hope that he heals.
Yeah,
I pray that he heals because he is a talented.
yeah.
I'll never forget him doing Ray.
And he's
My
not that old.
God.
He's not that old. He's
No,
not that
he's
old.
not. I think he's what, 55 or something? I think he's 55 or 57. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I will definitely be keeping Jamie in my prayers because he's a remarkable human being.
Okay.
He was under a lot of stress too with that last picture he was on. Cameron Diaz said it was so bad she was never coming back to filming ever. So he had a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah. So we don't know. We're just gonna assume.
Just continue prayers.
Continue prayers, but for regarding Al Pacino, closing that out. For me personally, I think it's too old. We'll put a poll up to see what people think.
I don't think so.
And I think she only with him for his money.
I mean, we all can say what we want about
you know that she dated Mick Jagger and Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood is in his 90s now, and they made a point of saying she likes old men.
What do you think, Mike?
In the entertainment?
Well, if he was, day-to-day, moment by moment, taking care of his kid, and he wouldn't have had a kid this old, right? It'd be different if it's me, because I don't have no nanny money. And I don't.
Robert De Niro was married for a lot of years, but Pacino never married.
Wow. You're right, Mike. If he was busy taking care of the other ones, the one he had at 79, he'd be too busy to have this one. I think that girlfriend planned this one. She wanted a Pacino baby.
And Mick Jagger too smart.
When I think back, God forgive me for saying this. Don't judge me, Lenore. But if I could be young again, with what I had going when I was young that I do not have now, forgive me, Lenore, forgive me. I would have found me a rich entertainer of some type, and I would have married him and got pregnant. Because I would have known if I could stay with him a year, I'd be rich for the rest of my life.
I'm not judging you. Good idea,
but I didn't think like that when I was young. But I mean, I couldn't really do it, but I would put myself in that arena.
Would have, could have, should have. You showed us some of your younger photos.
Oh man, the things I could have done and the stupid things I did do.
All right, before we go on, we'll read what everybody says in the chat room. Yellow Submarine says hi. Love you too. Emerald says, hey, everyone.
Emerald says hi.
Sharon says, hello, ladies. Good evening from Beantown.
Hello, Queen.
And then Yellow Submarine says, hey there from Chicago. Oh, you out here? You at?
Home girls.
Now, Sharon is saying the news is saying he's 89.
What?
No.
Did we get his age?
No.
That's even worse.
No.
He really looked good then if he's 89.
He looks great, and he's not even he's Italian, so he got a little black in him somewhere.
Emerald saying hi to everyone. She says, to me, children want your presence. When you have children so late, you rob them of that. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I agree with that. It's going to hurt that boy a lot.
But you know what?
If he has a brain, he knows his father's going to die.
But you know what, you guys? I have friends who are military babies. They didn't see their dad for when they were out in the fighting in the wars. So it's unfair for us to say you got to be there to be a great dad. What about military kids whose dads are away for a while or moms? Sharon
says that's the challenge. When you marry someone who wants a family, God says no, his sperms are still viable, so not too old. Old man with money. And then she said, I was wrong. I don't know what she was wrong. Oh, about 89 probably.
Oh,
yeah,
the thing
said he was 83.
I mean, I mean, if you look at the sperm when all this, birth happens, that sperm had to fight like a what
It
to
survived
get in
too.
there.
And
He had to fight. That's a human being.
and
He
women,
had to
our
fight
eggs
to break
dry
through the
up.
other sperm and get where he had to go. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Who knows why? This guy could be somebody great. But I do agree with you, Kim. It's going to be painful for that child because when he's like 13, he's not stupid. He sees his dad getting older and older. That's probably going to become a fear of his. God forbid, but it probably will. So on that side, I agree with Kim. But to each his own. His biggest mistake was making the choice of a young woman. That was his mistake.
That happens a lot, though. Like a lot of men, older men. Because think about it. What's her name?
Young women to older women. They don't like older women.
Nicole. What's her name? The actress name? Nicole
Kidman?
No, what's her name with the blonde? She was like Anna
Nicole.
Nicole. Yeah. Her husband now, no. I don't think we definitely would want him to be a dad because he looked really old. Right. But everybody's like De Niro. It's like, hey, De Niro, hey, Al Pacino. Yeah.
He's been good looking for a long time. I saw him in a play in New York, and I had got the earphones to wear. It was like he was right next to me. I was like this. He was so good looking.
Nice looking man.
He had me mesmerized. He was so good. I went back in 2 weeks and saw it again. He was that good.
Makes a difference when they
wow, no wonder he's a star. He has something that like sucked you in. Charisma.
Right. Okay. Emerald said enlisted is different than dead. I agree. Enlisted is at least they still alive. But dead is dead.
But y'all said about him being distant.
Oh, okay.
If they're not home,
all right. We'll put the thing up. I think most people going
to. I was always concerned about the friends that I had that had their military brats. They call them. I said, how did you deal with your dad being gone for like over a year or so as they were growing up? And they got used to it. But
okay. All right. So let's move on to your story. What's going on?
One of the things they talked about on The View today. Of course, everybody else is jumping into the rat race to becoming the president for Republicans. So they just mentioned Pence and a little bit about Christie. You call him Fred Flintstone. Mike Pence.
New Jersey governor, Chris Christie. Remember him? Well, they are both planning to throw their hat in the ring and run against Trump at the moment in the primary. And they're joining Ron DeSanctimonious, as he calls him, Ron DeSantis. Yes. Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, Asa Hutchinson, a few other of the ever-expanding lineup of contenders. I guess Sununu hasn't thrown his hat in yet. Not yet. I guess Sununu hasn't thrown his hat in yet. Not yet. I guess Sununu hasn't.
I want to see that lineup.
Expanding lineup of contenders. I guess.
Oh, that's who you talking about, Judge. What's his name?
This other black guy. Yeah.
That's who you was talking about.
There was 2 black men.
Well, they gotta have about 100 up here. So far, this ain't enough.
It's 50 more coming.
Where's Fred Flintstone?
That's what they're saying. They're announcing.
I'm pulling for Fred.
Fred and Pence are announcing.
He's halfway. I don't like his policy, but he's halfway got a mind, that makes sense. The rest of them, they're talking crazy.
You need to keep.
You know what I mean? I'm not that crazy about Fred, but out of what I've heard them say, he made the most sense to me.
Well, Fred Flintstone, aka Chris Christie, said he's going to get in the race. Wendy, you started calling him Fred Flintstone, so I can't unsee it after you said that. He looks like Fred Flintstone.
Yeah.
They got a little Fred too. What's the little Fred's name?
Barney.
Yeah, Barney. That's Fred Jr.
Fred Jr.
Once he gets in the race, he said he's only getting in the race so that he can mess with Trump. But this is what I told Lenore is going to happen. Trump is not going to do any debates.
He don't have to.
He doesn't have to.
You don't have to.
You think he can resist that temptation of the stage?
No. Yes, because he's in trouble right now.
He's the victim. He don't want everybody coming at him.
And he don't want them asking him questions like that on stage. He don't have to do the debate. So he's going to tell people, I don't have to do this debate. Why am I
I'm over
here?
50% love. People love me. I don't need to get on there and prove myself.
No. And Pence, why is he even
Oh
running?
my God. They
I know he's like a statue.
Mother.
He has no personality. You talk about Kamala, and she's attractive. Pence is like got no pizzazz, no nothing.
DeSantis is already he's already the moral road.
Yeah.
The Christians are like him. He's cutting everything. So you don't need Mike Pence.
They'll talk about his lack of the backbone and other things. And somebody on the View said, well, I laughed at what they said when they said mother. Who would be there supporting him? Just him and mother?
Him and mother.
And I laughed when they said that.
In the state of Indiana. And then what is Bubblehead gonna do?
Who's Bubblehead?
What's his name? The black guy.
Tim Scott. Tim Scott?
Yeah.
He's on the moral compass too, as well, the moral path.
He's the moral compass. You know what? In one of our comment sections, when we posted this about the Republicans running and stuff, somebody wrote, and it makes sense. A lot of these people are running for cabinet positions. They're running because after, just like Kamala, she ran and became vice president. So a lot of them want to be vice president. That's why they're not saying nothing bad about Trump.
Right.
Or they want to be on his cabinet.
Right.
So they're raising
That's
money.
what I want to know. Who's going to be vice president? Who will he pick?
I think Nikki Haley.
He may pull Nikki Haley in if she.
Oh,
if,
no.
Not going to win. What? And you think anybody else? Unless if Kim, you think it's DeSantis? No.
He could pull Bubblehead in.
Yeah, that's true.
It'll be interesting to see who he does.
To try to get the some black conservatives.
In the first place.
And he's trying to get in good with women, so it got to be either between Nikki or the
He
Scott.
can't get in with women.
Didn't he fire her? Did he fire Nikki one time? Did he fire her once?
I think so. Yeah, you're right. Or something. She was on his cabinet before.
She was.
I believe so.
Her.
Now, here's the thing. I think Tim Scott wants to be vice president because somebody asked him if he would sign the abortion, the 6-week thing. He skirts around the answer. He does the same thing Trump did. And I think he's doing that because he wants to be vice president.
You may be onto something, but we do know that it gives them awareness.
He's got to make them feel that he can offer them something nobody else has offered them.
My mom said that Biden addressed himself falling. Did y'all see that?
No.
Did a joke?
She said he made a joke.
He fell yesterday. You know, everybody's watching him.
What did he say, Mom?
Old Grandpa Biden.
Did you see him when he fell?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't watch yesterday's show? I showed it over and over again.
Yeah, I came in late though. I came in late.
And he was pointing at, I was saying, why is it that we do that? When we trip over something, we're mad at it.
Yeah.
It's just an object that we want to
Stupid
bears.
Stupid chip.
You stupid
my foot.
Yeah, no.
We mad at the item we trip over.
All right. Okay, so that's enough with
Where
them.
you at, Mike Perk? Where you at?
Yo, he there. I'm done with talking about Pence and Flintstone.
Anybody else who throws their hat in the race.
They boring. Go
Yeah.
back to your share
Okay,
thing.
so let me share.
Yeah, they
next
boring.
story.
I wanted to throw that in there so you can have your story
Okay.
with them.
Gee, thanks.
All right.
Okay.
Well, something from the View, but if they didn't really
that's
talk
true,
about
that's
it.
true.
This is interesting, y'all. Snowfall star Damson Idris said he suffered nightmares after looking to the devil for inspiration.
Oh.
British actor Damson Idris said he suffered from nightmares after he decided to look to the devil for some inspiration to help with his Snowfall character.
No.
He wanted the last show, he wanted to be real tough and he had to be vicious and evil. So he said he went and he stood. Well, let me tell what he said. In the last season, I was hitting a block. I was like, oh, I'm not doing it right. He shared around 950 point of the chat that he was doing. I went in the corner and then I was looking at the wall and I was like, come on, devil. Come on, devil. Come to me. Come to me. I had to do something like real crazy. He said, I had nightmares for months. I had nightmares every day. I just felt that bad energy. I had to pray and do all this stuff to get rid of it. You know, you call your mom up and you like, bring me back to life. That stuff is real. That stuff is real. So he playing around with the devil and he saw that it was the devil did come to him.
Maybe that needed to happen so he can see that it's real.
These people better stop playing around.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when a lot of people be like, oh, they satanic or they not, nuh-uh. It's these kids playing around. Like they'll have the concert and they'll have, you know, horns and
Ouija boards,
the devil, you know, walking across the
items that they
stage.
think it's just for fun.
They being funny about it. But he's there to tell them it's nothing to play with. It's real.
Because it brought about nightmares to him.
It brought nightmares.
But he played
Now,
with it
some
first,
people-
though, right?
Go ahead, Mike. What you say?
I'm sorry, I was just saying, but he played with it first, right?
He played who?
He played with the devil first. He went after that first.
Yep.
He begged for the devil's help.
Yep. He went after, he said he stood in the corner and said, come on, devil.
I see.
Now, why would he say
But
that?
you know what? On the other side of that, I see why he probably would do that. He wants to try to, like, you know, even Wendy as an actress, a lot of times they try to pull to be inspired. I know he played with it when he knew now, he knows now. But I think Mike, what he was trying to do is, come on, devil. I need some inspiration on how to make this evil, like my part, you know, really be real. Who would better person to call on?
And then he had this conversation with the guy who played Jeffrey Dahmer. And he said, the guy, his Peters, he said that role, that evil character was difficult for him. They don't realize they pull on these spirits when they come on, when they want to take on, like if you go in the corner and say, I want to be Jeffrey Dahmer, I want whatever Jeffrey Dahmer, and then the devil gonna be like, okay, you want to be the same spirit.
I went to the doctor one time, my pressure was extremely high. And my doctor said, what's going on? Are you okay in your marriage? Everything okay with the kids? This and that? I said, I'm fine. Why you ask me that? He said, because your pressure is extremely high. What have you been doing? I said, well, I'm in a play. They said, what are you playing? Oh, I said, a fatal track. He said, that's it. He said, your body doesn't know you're playing. So every time you play that part, you take your pressure up.
Oh.
I said, what? He said, yeah, your body doesn't know you're playing. He said, why do you think people listen to, like you all have, Sounds of the Beach? Because your body thinks you're at the beach.
Yeah. Okay.
You
So
You don't think about too, as an actress, words. You are speaking words when you speak your lines. That's putting it out in the atmosphere.
I have experienced going in so deep it can make you sad or make you angry or have an attitude, especially if it's something you're playing for like 3 months, every 4 days. It can start to wear on you.
Yeah.
But realistically speaking, a good actor can turn it on, turn it off.
Right. To me, I would just try to pull from my own inspiration. Everybody has had something in their life that has angered them.
It's like different types of actors. Like Denzel is a personality actor. You're always going to see his personality. But then you have other actors like Jamie, who is a character actor. Yeah. He changes his walk, his talk, everything. And then you have box office like John Travolta used to be, or Samuel Jackson. They're guaranteed to fill that box office. So you got personality actors, you got character actors, and you got box office. And most A actors are personality or characters.
Okay.
Oh,
didn't Blair?
No, Mike was going to say something. As I said, it's to get.
Okay.
I'm jumping in there because you were saying I had to keep it in my mind so I wouldn't forget it. So I'm sorry for trying to jump in.
Okay.
Like double dutch. Okay. When you mentioned actors, though, but remember some actors do share their experiences when they play a certain part. So regardless of what,
method actors, if they think about that dog getting hit
right.
with another dying, yeah, they're method actors.
Well, I'm saying as far as
Linda Blair.
Linda Blair when she played the Exorcist. So there's a lot of actors, whether they're whatever title you're calling them or category you're putting them in. A lot of times when you tamper with something supernatural,
Right.
regardless of what kind of actor you are,
Yeah.
you could open the door to something,
Absolutely.
not realize it.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
That's what I was
absolutely.
trying to say.
I
Okay.
would be scared to be in the Exorcist movie. I would be terrified. That movie scared me more than any movie I've ever seen. When her head turned around, she, my mother, blah, blah, blah. There was so much hatred in her voice. That's what scared me. The power in her voice. I said, oh, and I never want to see that movie again. I won't watch it.
What do you think, Mike?
Well, okay, I don't act, but he went into he went to I mean, Satan's real, and I wouldn't want to call upon him for something like that, right? Like, it is dangerous, so I'm not surprised that he felt that.
Yep.
I mean, some people who maybe act like murderers, they go visit people like that or get to learn and understand how they think.
Yeah.
That's different than calling on the devil for inspiration. Right? He was playing with some serious fire with that.
Well, he
And,
won't do that again.
You said he learned.
It's like I hear people say, oh, I went to a fortune teller. She told me things she couldn't have known. I said, that doesn't surprise me. What do you mean? I said, because she had the gift of prophecy, but she misused it.
Exactly. Yeah. You watch Eve's Bayou?
No, what is that?
Eve's Bayou, the movie
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the women
With
having that
Diane
same
Carroll
spirit.
played that witch.
Yeah. And the little daughter, the little girl even having that same spirit. It was a kindred spirit she picked up from her auntie.
Yeah.
But the one didn't want one reading each other and stuff, but they both were not doing it for God's purpose and building the kingdom.
Right.
But they did have that gift.
Okay. So let's see what they saying in the chat. Okay, going back. Emerald says, can we please get at least one good candidate? She talking about the candidates.
Right.
Sharon
The
says,
whole wide world. That's all they have.
Sharon says he can pull in Scott, probably for vice president. Emerald says, I saw Biden falling. We all saw that.
We all saw that.
I showed it over and over again, Emerald. It makes him look weak and feeble. That's what we all said.
Yeah.
Sharon says, people don't understand that you can't play with the devil. The devil is real.
Yeah.
That's nothing to play with. Emerald says, I don't think people understand that their soul is in jeopardy when they call on Satan. And then she says, why not pray to God for inspiration? He could have prayed to God and said, God, I really want to do this role. Give me some inspiration. I've had anger and I'll draw from that my own anger.
Maybe a situation that happened in my life can pull that out.
Or be angry at the devil. Draw from that.
That's true.
At all the stuff he's doing in the world.
Get under my feet.
Get behind us. And he would have been a real good actor.
Yeah, people were like, woo.
Yeah, and
It's like he was talking to the devil.
his inspiration was the devil.
Yeah.
Call on the devil to help.
Step on you.
Yeah, that's true. He could have used the devil as inspiration.
How God says we have power over him.
No, but to be mad at him.
Yeah.
So he messed up.
But he learned from it.
So do your share thing.
See. I'll share another. Just like that. Okay.
All right, y'all. Your favorite ladies in the news again. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, Lord.
Guess what's up? What's going on?
What?
The mega people hate her.
They do?
Because remember, she's up McCarthy's butt, the speaker.
Yeah.
He gave her all them platforms on the committees. So she's sticking by him. And with this latest debt ceiling, the mega people didn't like it.
Yeah.
She had to go against her mega people and stick with McCarthy. So they saying, you're a turncoat. You're a rhino. You are a turncoat. It says Marjorie Taylor Greene faces insurrection from the real mega people. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's decision to vote in support of the debt ceiling deal on Wednesday has been harshly criticized by her former ally, Steve Bannon, who called on the Georgia Republican to be challenged in the next party primary. So they want to go after her.
Wow.
In a message posted on the conservative social media platform, Getz on Wednesday night, Bannon called in Green and Rep. Jim Jordan of Ohio, who also voted in line with the party's leaders, to both face primary challenges from real mega people. The debt ceiling agreed between President Joe Biden and the Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy after a marathon of negotiation was easily passed, and you guys know it was passed in the House and the Senate. So, but it was passed in both branches.
Right.
But they've had it up to here with her because she's sticking with McCarthy.
Mhm.
But no, she came out and was like, no, I'm still one of you. I want to impeach Biden. So she's still on this whole road to impeach Biden.
Mhm.
And she wants to get the mega people back on her side because they don't like her.
Oh, I'm glad they finally catching on with everybody else.
Yeah.
Because she's like out there and they probably like, we see you now.
Yeah. So that's the latest with her. And
Okay.
then Chick-fil-A. You
Go
know,
to
I'm going through my
Chick-fil-A.
stories quick.
This is the Christian company.
Now, y'all know the man for Chick-fil-A is, ain't he saying?
He a born again Christian, yeah.
He closes the place down on Sunday.
Sundays for sure. To be everyone to go to church.
You can't get no more conservative than this man.
Can't get no more.
But he's not conservative enough.
Somebody found fault. Oh my God. Who?
They want to cancel Chick-fil-A now.
Why?
They cancel Budweiser. I told you why the transgender thing.
Exactly.
They can and lost billions of dollars.
Yeah, they did.
They canceled Target
Yeah.
because the LGBTQ
The clothing
pride
in the front
in the front.
should be moved to the back.
They've lost billions of dollars.
Wow.
Now they want to cancel Chick-fil-A. You want to know why?
Why? Chick-fil-A, I love their chicken nuggets and that special sauce.
The guy, the Chick-fil-A man,
Mhm.
stop sharing.
Okay.
The Chick-fil-A man, CEO, the owner, I guess,
Mhm.
went on a Christian TV show.
Okay.
And I'm summing up what he says. I'm not going to say exactly what he said. He basically said that as the church, even as corporations,
Mm.
we need to be more inclusive.
Okay.
So he supports the DEI, the diversity, equality, inclusive.
Uh-huh.
And Santa has canceled that out of Florida. Mega people and far right people don't agree with
It's
that.
almost like they're taking us back 100 years.
Well, they want to make America great again.
Keep us separate.
They want to make America
We
great.
don't want to
again.
blend with nobody.
So he had the nerve
Mhm.
to go on a Christian station
In their eyes.
and say Christians shouldn't judge people by their color of their skin and be humble and
Oh,
humility.
wow. He talked about humility.
And he talked about apologizing. That's the part that got him.
They want to cancel him because of that.
How dare you speak to white people to apologize to black people? And it was a black man on the panel.
Uh-huh.
And he got up and he said, just like Jesus washed the feet
Of the disciples.
to be humble.
He humbled
He
himself.
said, I humble myself to you,
Oh.
and start shining the man's shoes.
Oh.
A white, you are the CEO
signing your shoes.
of Chick-fil-A,
They was shaking. They was
and you are on your knees shining this black man's
He
shoes
talking about humility
and talking about humility
and love.
and love. And then you had the nerve to create a website that your employees can go to learn about diversity and being inclusive.
Gotta hear what Mike gonna say.
Go on, Mike. What you got to say?
Go on, Mike. Got your hand.
My question is, when he talked about diversity and inclusion, years ago that was usually just race, but nowadays that means a lot more. Is all he spoke about was race, or did he, go with the, people's lifestyles and things? Was he including that in diversity, or?
Well, it doesn't say, it says here, the Focus Burst viewed this week as conservatives went after Chick-fil-A, a fast food restaurant. They're often supported in the past, given Christian roots and its prior donations to anti-LGBT groups. Chick-fil-A puts money on anti-LGBT groups. Despite Republicans' longtime backing, the change decision to employ a vice president of DEI has prompted backlash from some who now slam the company for being too woke, for considering policies that help support people of color and other underrepresented groups in the workplace. So it tells me he probably didn't like that he was getting slammed by saying we support anti-LGBT group. Let's hire a vice president that's over diversity and inclusion, and let them rebrand us to show that we're not prejudiced or racist, and
who want to love, and
all
accept.
people are welcome to work here, respect each
He
other.
did have to say that because people got mad at him about with the LGBTQ. Are you
Yes.
not going to hire them? Because he's a Christian organization, and how a lot of Christians do feel about that lifestyle and not in agreement with it.
Right.
He says, they're still hired. They can work here because their sexual preference has nothing to do with them being on the job flipping a piece of chicken.
Well, it says, for now, the outrage appears to be confined to mostly social media, where prominent conservative commentators like Turning Point's Charlie Kirk and Wade Miller, the head of the Citizens of Renewing America, which seeks to combat woke proposals, have weighed in. Given how recent backlash has been, it's not yet evident whether it has had an impact on the restaurant sales. My prediction is that it won't, because you can't get no more conservative and Christian than this man. He closes his chain on Sunday, for God's sake.
I know.
He donates millions of dollars to all these conservative people running. So they're not going to say nothing.
I don't know why they even coming at him for even talking about humility, though. Even as a Christian, because remember, our show yesterday talked about the ladies on The View were so angry why people were so mean, like they were mean to Lizzo and other people in social media, other entertainers. People have become ugly and mean behind their cameras on their computers. And we just talked today about a real devil,
right?
A real evil spirit. Of course, it's going to get into whoever he can get into that has problems with race, LGBTQ, or anything. But I was telling my sister, isn't what he's teaching what Jesus taught?
Right.
Humility. When he washed the disciples' feet, he was showing them humility. They were like, well, you're the Savior, you're the Lord. How dare you wash our feet? They was trying to even rebuke Jesus for being humble. And he was like, dude,
yeah,
y'all need to understand what humility is all about. I'm against pride. And that's the whole spirit of the devil, is pride.
Okay.
So why is he getting backlash for talking about being humble?
Well, let's see what they say in the comments. Emerald says they will stick close to anyone who will help further their own agenda, regardless of if it's appropriate. And she says, Jesus Christ didn't exclude anyone from the message and the promise of everlasting life.
Thank you.
Everybody was included.
Everybody. He died for every
but they
soul on this earth.
They feel like DEI, this is what some of the conservatives feel like.
Oh.
DEI gives an unfair advantage. The same thing they said about affirmative action. An unfair advantage to certain groups, and they don't like that. Okay. They don't like companies hiring DEI or looking at diverse, looking at how I need to have a mixture in here and all this, because they feel like some people won't get the job because they don't fit that.
Black man got it, right? White man.
Now, I agree. There are some things, and we've talked about it on the show before, that I feel like go too far.
Yeah.
Remember, I said I don't agree with being transgender, and you haven't had any kind of a change, what is it, operation, and you walking around
still with your original parts,
with your original genitalia. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with what Target did with putting pride stuff in the front of the store and having stuff for kids as transgenders.
Okay.
Where they can hide their genitalia in bathing suits and stuff. As a kid,
So,
I don't push that on. I always said, I always feel like you can do whatever you want once you become an adult.
okay.
But operations at a kid's age to me is just too young.
Mhm.
So I do agree that it can get too much.
Okay. In
But
your face.
yeah,
Boom.
it can be too much.
Accept our lifestyle. Boom.
Right. But you should be able to have some diversity and be able to teach there's differences in us and what's
Isn't
wrong
that
with
what
that.
Martin Luther King was all about?
Thank you.
I'm thinking, are we going back over 200 years where we're separate? Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. You treat me like I am the privileged person that,
Thank you.
of course, treat me. But Jesus was he's talking about, the thing is, I don't understand when those who call themselves Christians, because there are other religions that also speak about doing good to your brother. We
Mhm.
have extremes in all of these religions. You're right. The extreme, they want to do the work of God. You're wrong. I'm going to take your life out. God never said that. God said, I love. I don't like what you're doing,
Right.
but I love you.
Right.
And we don't understand that. We got to love beyond what we don't agree with in that person's life. Their lifestyle, whether we like it or not, you still love them if you call yourself a Christian.
That's right.
That's the challenge you have.
Okay. So real quick, DPS is investigating women who complained about men in the Capitol restroom. At the urging of Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza, Texas DPS is now investigating a group of women who complained online about a man's presence in the women's restroom. While men are being allowed to use the women's restrooms at the Texas Capitol, the Department of Public Safety is investigating a group of women who shared photos of the incident at the behest of the transgender activists and the Travis County District Attorney. So what happened was there was a transgender, they keep calling them men, but it was a transgender who went into the ladies' washroom. And there were a lot of women who did not like that. So they took pictures of it. And one lady actually came up to approach the person and said, "You're not supposed to be in here. You're not supposed to be in here."
Mhm.
So what happened was, because she did that, she got in trouble from her job.
They're telling that person they wasn't supposed to be in there.
You can't tell somebody that's transgender that they can't go to the washroom.
Wow.
So she got in trouble for that. So she's being investigated and put on leave and all this other stuff. So she's upset about that. And she says that the problem that she had with this particular transgender is that she's a lesbian. All right, let's break this down.
Well, you know, there's a little bit of,
So it was a male.
take it real slow.
It was a male
Okay.
who transitioned to a female
Okay.
and likes women.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
So she has a
In a
problem.
woman's washroom.
She has a problem with that transgender who transitioned from a man to a woman and likes women.
She just happens to know her though, because I'm thinking, if I'm not mistaken, I know, Mike, you can speak to a male's washroom. A female's washroom is stalls. There's doors.
But what if they
There's
using a
like-
urinal?
No, there's no urinal in a woman's washroom.
No,
That's-
not for a man. You said for him.
No, that's what I'm saying. For Mike, it would be a situation where if a man is transitioning to a woman and walks in and stands next to Mike,
to a man.
but this is a one. I'm going to the other side.
Okay.
This is a man transitioning to a woman going into a woman's washroom. Women's washrooms don't have urinals. They
Right.
have doors. They have private areas that you can go and use your washroom and you won't know who they are.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What do you think, Mike?
Got your hand up.
Yeah, so have you heard of a woman transition to a man trying to use a men's restroom?
I haven't heard of that one. You're right.
Exactly.
That's a good
Right?
one.
See, it's not going that way. It's the other way. So
Right.
those guys are really, messed up in the way they're thinking, and I don't think they can be trusted. Also, either way it goes, though, it's illegal to have your phones in the restroom taking pictures, right?
Yeah.
You have the freedom of speech or freedom to take video in the public, but not in restrooms. Once you do that, you are breaking some kind of law.
You are.
Yeah, I still think it matters what you look like. I've always said that. If you are a woman that's transitioning to a man
Mhm.
and you got a full beard and a mustache,
Mhm.
I don't want you coming into my washroom.
Okay.
You look like a man.
With the whether there's doors or not.
Would you say, Mike?
I was when I was in the Navy, I was on one boat. There was this woman. She was a woman, 100% woman, but she had right angles, a certain ways, she looked like a guy. And one girl told me she walked into the shower and saw her and actually jumped because she thought it was a guy. And so, it's just, but she wasn't trans anything. She was full-blooded woman, 100%.
She just looked like a man.
Yeah.
We talked about that before.
She had her female parts, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
She just,
But she thought it
other
was a
part
guy.
of her looked like a man.
Well, we talked about that. We talked about people who don't even have they're not even transitioning and they look like
They look like the opposite.
there's men who look like women. They're
Yeah.
not even transitioning.
I know.
But I'm talking about body parts.
Okay.
If you are Prince and you walk into a man's washroom wearing lingerie and lipstick, I think y'all still know he a man. That's different.
See, it's like a drag queen walking
Yeah,
in
like a
next to
drag
you, Mike.
queen.
Like if you were in a washroom at the airport and a drag queen walks in, that's a man using the urine just like you are. Still have the male parts. He's just dressed like a female. I don't know. This is really getting real
It's
touchy
starting to
now.
get, we don't know.
But Mike hit the nail on the head. You don't take photos of them
Yeah, you don't do that.
in the washroom. Whether you're outraged or not about that, you still are, you're going as far as disrespecting their privacy, wherever they are. You don't do that. So
Well, it
she
says
probably didn't
here,
get what she deserved.
Martin, that's the transgender, also possesses to be a lesbian and publishes erotic poetry with sex with women. So the women complained about, they said his presence. This is a Republican thing I'm reading.
Okay.
The women, we supposed to say her. The women were complained about her presence in the restroom to DPS officers. However, they were told that there was nothing they could do, citing fears of discrimination lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
After the ladies' complaints about Martin's invasion on their space spread on Twitter, Martin and her supporters began complaining to DPS and the Travis County DA's office. It was then that the DPS acted, and that's when they went after them.
He said, Mike, he's just a pervert.
Oh, yeah. Mike said he's just a pervert.
Yes.
But then are you a quote unquote lesbian?
Because you can say, that's a good point, Mike. You can say you doing this transition and stuff, and people will buy it because it's going on now. You can literally just be a perverted person using that as an excuse to prey on women.
But he's legally changed to a woman.
Oh, he is?
He's legally a woman now.
Oh, so he's sharing that.
Yeah,
we don't have to share that.
We're gonna be
Everybody knows what's in the person's mind and what they think of and who they like. We don't need to know who you're attracted to sexually.
We're gonna get these stories all the time.
Like it's a sign on your head. I like women. I like men. I like both. Who cares who you sleep with? Why you got to put it out there?
We're gonna get these stories all the time, y'all. Let me read y'all comments. Emerald says, I agree with you, Kim. My understanding is that the true leaders are servants of the people. She's going with the washing the feet. They should have unisex bathrooms for these situations.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Yeah, they're trying to do that in some places,
especially in a public building.
Oh, I tell you,
what we gonna do? It's gonna get worse and worse.
I know. One of my relatives works in HR, and they have different offices in different cities. And hers is in the East Coast. One of the workers was transitioning from the Midwest office to her office, and they were transitioning from a male to a female. And with that, they had to be real careful as HR how they treated that situation, because a lawsuit could definitely go against her company. And to the point where other workers kind of knew that this guy was transitioning from a male to a female. He was actually getting newer clients as the female and getting rid of his clients as his male name. With that being said, he said people was bothering him going in the washroom behind him, looking under the stall. Because they knew that he was transitioning. So the word got out. She, as HR, had to protect him, though. She, no matter what she felt about that lifestyle or not, she worked for HR.
Yeah.
She had to protect that man transitioning to a woman. And this person had the nerve to ask my relative out for lunch and even ask for my relative's opinion. I want to do the actual sex change. Well, as an HR, she can't tell him what to do and not to do. And she made it clear to him, I can't give you instructions on what to do with your personal life. That's you.
Yeah.
And I asked recently when I saw my relative, I said, did they finally do that change? She said they finally had the whole sex change. So they was transitioning from a male to a female. His family did not like it. His kids had to deal with it. And that was one thing that it broke down the family because of that. So people don't realize, even though you may know and hear about it, we had it at my old company. We had a transgender and they couldn't come out and say who it was because HR had to protect them for discrimination.
Yeah.
That's real scary now. We have to be careful with that.
All right, y'all. So our last story, you always want to know who the donkey of the day is.
Gotta end with the donkey.
Charlemagne the God's donkey of the day. We're all adults here, right? So everybody relax, everybody calm down. We're all adults, but I'm getting ready to go into kid land here.
Okay.
But we're all adults.
Wendy, what you doing? I don't see your photo on. I hear noise.
You can mute me.
Okay.
The donkey of the day.
A personal pan pizza.
The donkey of the day.
Okay. Take it.
Fart spray.
Oh,
Prank.
okay.
At Texas high school leads to criminal charges for 2 kids.
Oh my goodness. We used to do that back in the day.
Yeah.
We didn't have the spray, but we did other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my.
2 students have been criminally charged after allegedly bringing a can of fart spray to their Texas high school this month. A prank that led to evacuations, hospitalizations, and canceled classes.
What? Well, how much spray did they do?
Diego Flores, 18, and a boy, 17, were both charged with possession of a prohibited weapon, a 3rd-degree felony, after authorities said they intentionally or knowingly possessed a chemical dispensing device, according to court records. A strange odor at the high school on May 3rd and 4th prompted extensive testing of the campus mechanical and ventilation and sewer systems. Multiple fire departments were responded to the school. Fire and rescue came and determined that the air quality was safe and that there was no odor in the building when it was occupied by the students. It did all of this because these guys brought this can of fart spray. Students were temporarily evacuated, and a gas smell near the cafeteria was discovered and dismissed at 1 p.m. There was no odor when the students returned to campus the next day, prompting another evacuation and early dismissal, according to another message. So they did it 2 days in a row. Some students had a strong negative physical reaction to the odor, including headaches and nausea, and were taken to the hospital by ambulance, according to court documents. We have been told by multiple resources using advanced equipment that the presence of natural gas has not been detected on our campus. It was later on they found out that these 2 boys was let go a can of fart spray in the school. So now they are being tried with a felony.
Oh my goodness.
So Charlemagne the God said, that's too much.
Thank you.
Even though they did have to do all that stuff with the school, he said he had a can of fart spray back in the day. He said people would bring dog poo and
Yes.
put it on the handles of when you walk up the stairs.
Yes.
He said people would dig in their butt and say, "Can you smell something?" and put it on people's
They'll
nose.
spit things on the ceiling.
People would throw stuff at the teacher when they turned around.
Tacks in the chair.
It's not right.
Oh my God.
But a felony.
Or they would steal the mascot from another school.
He said
my
he
God.
understand they should have been suspended
Yes.
or
Yes.
something harsh.
Yes.
But a felony,
A felony.
he gives that city a donkey of the
That's
day.
not a crime. That's not, they didn't hurt anybody. They didn't, other than the persons that got sick from the smell.
Emerald says someone did fart spray at my school and itching powder.
Yeah.
Remember the Brady Bunch?
Yes.
When Marsha, that girl put itching powder in their sleeping
No,
bag.
the boys did.
Oh, the boys put sleeping
She had a
powder.
sleepover.
Yeah, itching powder.
Itching powder.
All right, so that was funny. She said they put itching powder. She said it's just the end of the school year pranks. Felony is too much. They should clean the school grounds or community service of the school.
Maybe the lawyers would fight that.
I think they're doing it to scare him.
You
I
think?
don't think they're gonna really.
And the lawyers should say, really, a fart spray and he's going to jail.
Well, because
Really?
some kids had to go to the hospital.
I know, but still, I mean, like you're saying, a really heavy
This a
fine.
weak generation.
It is.
If you gotta go to the hospital for fart spray,
Yeah, you weak. Yeah.
maybe they got asthma and
We can't
stuff.
do what we
You know
used to
what?
do.
The world is different now.
Not the same.
They don't have the same we didn't have the toxics in the air like they got. We could eat dirt back
We ate
then.
mud sometimes.
So they can't do that.
Yeah.
We played with
Is that
crayons
Chinese?
and no, that's this.
Oh, okay.
We played with crayons and all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That was toxic for us. Sharon said nothing fun anymore. We are judicially focused. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So
That was truly a donkey.
before I go to Wendy, Mike, did you have any final words?
Still there?
Or any thing that we missed?
Nope, no, glad I was able to join the show. And
We'll,
that's it.
we'll check out
Nice
that.
to see you, Mike. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Sharon said, help the kids to understand what they did not to court. And then Wendy, what do you have to say? You have anything?
Oh, I was going to ask you, did you hear about the UFOs?
UFOs.
We've been hearing about that for
UFOs.
100 years.
What's going on there?
They saw 5 or 6 spots in the air. To me, as a layman, they just look like 5 light bulbs. But through their scientific whatever, they figured out that it was not of this earth and it wasn't from them. There's been several reports done, and it's happening more and more often. So, yeah, they said it's a lot. They're going to change it, even being called UFO. They're going to change it to something else, which kind of meant their assessment of what they saw. But what got me was it was this one pilot. So he started a whole thing, right? Because he said, if people knew how many pilots are in silence because they don't want to lose their jobs, and they have seen things, it's like they've got like a little club almost. He said there are so many pilots that have seen all kinds of things, and some of them have seen the same thing. So that creeped me out because I was like, wow, you know how it is on a job, you're scared to talk. Everybody got a little secret that nobody knows about. Maybe they're gonna start a union or something. These guys only talk to each other because they don't want to be laughed at and they don't want to be fired. And he said it is time for the government to start taking this more seriously and stop making it a joke. He said it's not funny. He said they always making fun of people who've seen things. He said, but I guarantee you, a lot of pilots frequently see things. So I thought that was kind of amazing.
Well, I think that I always tell people I believe in we're not the only life in the universe.
It helps though.
I've always said that.
Like what Wendy's saying, it would help if more and more come forward.
Okay, well then
so they'll
Wendy,
really start believing.
Wendy, that means you voting for Trump.
What are you
Why?
talking about?
Let me tell you why.
UFO?
No, hold on. Remember, he created the space thing. He believes in that, and we need to go out and be ready for when we're attacked by extraterrestrials. And he also said when he becomes president again, he's going to open the files up to all of that stuff so that the whole country can really see what's going on. So Wendy for Trump.
No.
Like I
Please
said,
don't put that out
this
there.
pilot's face, if you could have seen this man's face, it had terror in it. Terror, fear, because he didn't know what to do.
Well, I already told you what Trump said he was going to do.
With that whole UFO thing.
SpaceX. Wasn't it SpaceX that he created? He created another leg to our armed forces.
Mhm.
I think it was SpaceX.
That looks at things in the
And
atmosphere.
they are preparing. They're supposed to prepare us for an attack, and also, or to just be able to conversate or have some connection.
Mhm.
And he said if he becomes president again, he's going to open up all those files that the government is holding.
The ones he took home.
Wow.
He probably knows because he took them all and looked on them.
He probably does, but it doesn't affect us anyway. God's got us.
That's right.
Thank you.
So that means you're not voting for Trump for 2024, Wendy.
We want to hear what
Lenore,
she used profanity.
Lenore, take your left hand and then
I
take
know.
your right hand and put it around Kim's throat and just choke her for about 5 seconds.
Mike said Space Force. That's it.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Space Force.
Part of the Air
Lord
Force.
have mercy.
Part of the
And,
Air
And that's good if he feels that way too, and he strongly understands that there could be life beyond this earth. And a
all
lot
I
of people
know
do.
is I will never forget that guy said, if you knew how many pilots have seen things, it would blow your mind. That sent
Trump
chills up my.
knows.
Yeah.
Remember
So-
that Twilight Zone movie where he's the guy that plays in William Shatner,
Yeah.
and he kept seeing something on the plane.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember.
Crazy.
Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone.
And he tried to climb out on the plane.
Get it?
Yeah.
That thing was ripping
He was ripping the plane apart. Like there's some, he's out there.
Right.
He's out there.
Right? I love Twilight Zone and Hitchcock.
I thought about the pilots when you said that. Pilots see stuff. They're in
Okay.
that
Yeah.
high hemisphere.
Yeah. You know,
All right, y'all.
he was very serious. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, you probably already know this stuff. You know that Michael Jackson's nephew's playing him, right?
Yeah. And a new
But
guy
do
out
you
there.
know what nephew it is?
Yeah, it's Jermaine's son.
With his brother's wife.
Yes. Girl, that's old news. Randy and Jermaine got kids by the same woman.
Denise, I think.
No.
What's her name?
Alejandra.
Oh, Alejandra. Okay.
Alejandra. She's my friend on Facebook, Wendy.
Wow.
Alejandra has kids with Randy and with Jermaine.
They doing the biblical thing.
What?
Brother takes the wife when the brother dies.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the same kid that came forward and said he didn't like the way his aunt dressed on stage.
Yeah. Jafar.
They
Yeah, he's
picked the
playing
right, they picked the right one to play him because he's obviously very different.
Yep.
And he's a family member, so that's good. He's keeping it in the family.
All right, y'all. So we signing off. You're unmuted, Mike.
Thank you.
Oh,
for
sorry.
That's fine.
Oh, I thought you wanted to say something. Okay. Let me go the comments before we go. Nothing when we are okay. Shannon says help the kids to understand what they did, not to court. So she agrees not for felony for those
Yes,
kids.
It's too strong.
Emerald says everyone have a great weekend.
Yes.
The weather is amazing here in Washington State. All right,
So
Emerald.
Washington is west.
We was there. Remember
Yeah,
we
the
was in
Seattle
Washington?
area. Okay.
Yeah. And Sharon says, have a wonderful weekend, everyone.
Yes.
All right, y'all. So if you want to be part of our Friday show, usually Wendy the one that jumped in here, but Mike came in today.
Yeah.
The more people we get, the better we'll get at giving everybody time to
I like
talk.
when
I
Mike
like when
did.
Mike put the hand up. We'll do that.
Yeah.
If we have more people, normally we just have Wendy, so we just bounce off each other. But the more people will, you put your hand up and then you can make a
Definitely
comment.
make sure you
And then we
heard,
can
yeah.
unmute you and then you can say whatever you want to say.
Okay,
We'll do that as we get more people.
okay.
Was creation for you at gmail.com. I put our email address in the chat. If you want to be part of our Friday show, it's only people that we used to seeing. If you somebody that come in and we don't know who you are, we're gonna act like the color purple. Papa, who that
Who that
woman?
woman? Who that man?
And we'll probably tell you, come on a little bit
We
more.
got the names of people who actually started with
Yeah,
us.
we have
Foundation.
people who we trust. If we put you on the stage, you're not gonna be acting crazy.
Thank you.
So it's people we know because we've seen y'all in the chats and stuff. But we just put the email address in the whatever, the comment section.
Mhm,
If you want to be part of the show, send us an email and send us your email
mhm.
so we can send you the link. Hopefully next week we can have it on our normal Streamlab and not Zoom.
Via Zoom, yeah.
Because then that way it's not weird how people talking over each other and stuff.
Right.
So we'll see.
how that flows.
We'll see how that
we
goes.
normally, our show is normally, like everyone knows, at 6.
Yeah.
We started a little
We
late
started a little
today.
late. We had somebody come over today.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Don't forget. Oh, Wendy. Oh, let me say my book. 100 family friendly jokes. You can the link is in the description and it's also on Amazon under 100 family friendly jokes.
Mhm.
And I'm going to let Wendy take us out.
Hey, Lenore, I tell you what I'm going to do, okay? Because this woman, she's always good to the church. She do her job. She's a soldier. She should have been remembered on Memorial Day because she is a warrior. And little Timmy, she's so sweet. No, she not. She say what she wants to say when she wants to say it. But I like that about her. But listen, the real reason I have you here, it is so important. You know, our people have always told stories we couldn't read. So how we communicate? We tell stories and we sing. It is very important because now that guy in Florida, though, he's trying to take away and erase our history. So we must talk to each other.
Yes.
They have a lot of important things to say here. You must support them. Yes, you must like. That lets them know they're on the map. You must share because Black people need to share wisdom.
Yes.
We have a lot. And most importantly, you must believe.
Yes.
Because if you don't believe in something, you'll be nothing. Anyway, I get emotional. And that
was
another Woods Report.
all
Have a
right.
nice weekend. Goodbye, Mom.
Bravo. All right, y'all. Good night.